Hi friends, it's Kay. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am bringing you on a super exciting reading vlog. And this vlog ended up taking up the majority of the month of January, which is kind of a fun time. But in this vlog, I will be taking you through my different reads of this month and taking you along with my day-to-day life in between those reads, and I hope you have a fun time. And without further ado, let me send you back to about 3-ish weeks ago. Kay here. Honestly, I decided to start this vlog because I just really wanted to film one, and I feel like it's a kind of good week for it because I'm just on my own, I'm chilling, and I honestly just, I don't know, I feel like I'm trying to get into reading this year because I don't know what it is, but I'm always so slumpy in January. Like, I have so many good books right now, and I'm just slumpy, and it's really annoying. So I'm just literally using this vlog as motivation, and just to take you around kind of a day in my life kind of thing. Yes, don't ask about this. I have no clue what happened. I woke up and there it was. And so yeah, I'm just gonna take you guys around with me and see what happens. So what am I reading right now? I just started the Book of Gothel, and this is like so far really cool. I am literally less than 3 chapters into it. I'm like even under the 20-page mark, but what is so cool about this, and maybe it's just gonna be a me thing, but the way it's written is that Gothel is a place and Mother Gothel is a title. So in this book, we have like a historian from like our time, and he has found this book called the Book of Gothel, and it is essentially an old Mother Gothel writing down her story because people have told it wrong so many times. She wants to put the truth to rest and tell her life story. But from the synopsis, it's also fantasy, but we're mostly taking place in 1100s Germany, but there's going to be fantasy at some point. So I'm honestly living for it. There is so many just historic medieval German vibes right now, and like there's kind of like the folklore and religion that makes up Middle Ages Europe. So as we all know, I'm a history minor. Obviously, I'm living for that. And then I'm also in the middle of Nocturne. This is an arc that goes on sale February 21st. And this is one of my most anticipated releases of 2023. And I am absolutely loving it. It is 1930s Chicago, ballet, Beauty and the Beast, Gothic vibes. And I'm just living for it. But I'm also living for it because we are following an Italian orphan. And if you know anything about American history and about Chicago, specifically in the 1920s and 30s, gangsters, the mob, all that stuff in big cities. And I don't think it's a spoiler, but her brother specifically is involved in the mob. And she's orphaned, so you can guess what happens to him. But it's so good. Like, I wasn't expecting this much focus on, like, life in the 1930s, which may have been, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting it, because this is also fantasy. Because there's also just, like, I don't know how to explain it yet, because we haven't gotten to that part yet. But I'm really, really loving it. And also, I have this author, Alyssa Wiss. I don't know if she has ballet experience, but she has captured the feeling of performing and the feeling of dance in general and how it makes you feel alive, how it is a bright spot in a world of darkness. She just captured that emotion so vividly, and I have never read anyone put to words how it feels to perform in front of an audience before, and I'm just living for it. Also, I don't know how I keep doing this, but somehow, my dance department at college, we are putting on The Firebird. It's our spring production, and I'm not directly involved in it, but that's what our main character of this book is. Grace is the Firebird. So I don't know how this has happened for a second time, but I am reading a book about a ballet that my department's putting on. And I just think it's fate when I redo this. I love that so much. So yeah, I will keep you updated. I also don't know what else. Like, I'm in a ready mood, but the thing about me is that I start all these books, but then it takes me forever to finish them because I keep jumping around instead of sticking to one. So I'm going to try to make myself dip farther into these, almost finish them before I try to start anything new, because I kind of want an audiobook. I DNF'd the book I was reading on audio, so I kind of want a new one. And then I also want romance, and like, guys, what is wrong with me? I just don't want to read everything all the time. But yeah, I don't know what's going to happen from here. I'm hoping this actually motivates me to read, but see you in the next update. Are going to be linked below. Until next time, I'm Kay. Bye! Hey everyone, as you can see by the room change in the scenery, we are back to business as usual with the spring semester starting in a few days. So here I am. And I don't even know, I think I updated you last time. I was in the middle of 2 books. Well, now, because I'm unhinged, I am now in the middle of 4 books. I have no idea why. Why am I doing this to myself? Who knows? But at least all of them are on different platforms and all of them are different enough in genre to where it's not too bad. But I'm in the mood where I want to read absolutely everything. And then when I am wanting it in that mood, I just keep starting all these books. But then I know about myself that when I'm in the middle of multiple books, it takes me forever to finish them. So I'm trying not to let that be the case. So I'm making progress in the Book of Thoughtful, and I am still really, really enjoying it. It is like kind of slow burn, but kind of in a way where like everything's going to go wrong eventually, but it's just getting to that point. But I'm really loving our main character. Although when I do this a lot, but when I went to look at how many pages are in the book, I accidentally read like a spoiler, but I don't think it's a spoiler. I don't know. We'll see how much of a spoiler I did while I'm still in like the first 33% of the book. But I read the last page accidentally, at least the top of one of the last pages, and I'm just like, not again. But it's fine. I am really enjoying it, and I think that this is just going to be like a really dark book in the way in which is like the creeping sense that something's going to go wrong, and things are going to go wrong in a very bad way. Same with Nocturne. This is, again, an arc, and it comes out in February, and it is very much a gothic horror vibes, but there's also just elements of Beauty and the Beast, Phantom of the Opera, and ballet. This author is just so amazing at capturing language and like descriptions and having like analogies to describe things. Like it's really, like she described this, like I think he's the main I think he's the guy love interest that's gonna like really shake things up for our main character. But the way she described his voice was so creative and it was so good. Like I could hear it, and I'm awful at imagining voices. So to me, that's just an amazing compliment. So what did I start? On audiobook, I ended up starting A Botanist's Guide to Potions and Poisons. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but it's definitely poisons. But this is a murder mystery about a female botanist in the 1920s in London, I believe. Yes, London. And she is a university student, and this is one of my most anticipated releases of 2022. And when I started it, I was like, okay, sure. But at some point on the audiobook, I just got completely sucked into the story. And I am absolutely in love with our main character. Her name is Saffron, and she's a botanist. And saffron is like a type of flower. So already, I'm here for it. But then she is just so funny. And it's not even in a way like she's trying to be funny. It's her inner monologue. And the way she interacts with people is just so, for me, relatable. And some of the things she does. And I don't think I can tell you because it's not really a spoiler, but I don't want to say anything, but let's just say that the way she goes about solving a situation is so relatable and so much a scientist thing to do. I can't even explain it. I just started laughing because people are going to think it's going to be this dumbest thing ever of what she did. But if you know someone in STEM or you have taken any kind of like science class and you get told history about scientists, you're going to understand completely what I mean. And it's not really a spoiler, but what she did is essentially the equivalent of that one dude who swallowed bacteria in order to prove antibiotics worked. Like ingesting something that could actually hurt you and kill you just to prove a point. And it's honestly just, I loved it. And then our love interest, it's not confirmed he's a love interest, but at some point the point of view switched, and I wasn't expecting that. But his point of view of Saffron is literally the purest thing ever. And we also, after she does that really like borderline stupid thing to prove a point, he takes care of her. So it's kind of like the caring for the sick kind of a thing. And he helps her by writing down her symptoms and stuff. And I'm just like what a man. I might have found my first book crush of the new year, and I'm so excited. And then what elevated this book even more for me is that I made a connection in my head, seemingly off the bat, because a police station was described, and it immediately clicked to me that these two remind me of William Murdoch and Julia Ogden from Murdoch Mysteries, which is a Canadian show on Acorn, I think. I don't know. I haven't watched it in so long, but I got Hulu finally, and it came on my radar, so that was already in the back of my brain. But once I made that connection that they are just like them in a certain way, but they're just both scientists. He's a biologist, Alexander, who's our guy. He's a biologist, a microbiologist, and it's just two scientist equivalents of Murdoch and Julia, and I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with that concept. But also, something that's really interesting that adds even more is that one of our side characters in this, who's Saffron's flatmate, she secretly writes poetry, and then Alexander, he is a World War I vet who came out of the war and fell in love with microbiology. So it's just combining all my loves in academia, essentially, and putting it in one place, plus a murder mystery. And I'm really, really enjoying it, and I'm very happy about that. And then last, I ended up starting Wild Souls, and Faith Prince actually reached out to me and asked if I would read this, if I was interested in reading it for her, because it's on Kindle Unlimited, and I said, oh sure, this sounds interesting. And I'm not gonna lie, I think at first I really wasn't sure about this book, but then I started reflecting on it, and I was like, you know what, I actually really like this, because not only is this a really interesting story, because our main guy character in this, he can see souls and the souls surrounding people. So it gives like a description of what a soul would look like on an evil person, a good person, that kind of a thing, and how it has made him a outcast of society. It's really hurt his home life, and he is just socially awkward, anxious, all of that. He doesn't fit in anywhere. And then the other main character in this, she is also a social outcast, and she really just wants, her father left her and her mother, and so her and her mom's relationship's on the kind of rocky, and then because she wants her dad to come back more than anything because he's left before, so he might come back. And the two of them end up talking through this online thing, which is kind of like TikTok and Reels, except it's virtual reality, so it sucks you into another person's perspective and lets you see what they're seeing. And it's really just, there's so many cool like plot elements of this book that I'm just like really curious how it's going to go. And then the characters, even though they're kind of annoying, it is definitely reading like it's a YA paranormal romance. And it definitely reads that way because underlyingly these are two teenagers who feel like they don't fit in anywhere else and are trying to find happiness, solace, comfort in one another. So it's very much like borderline obsessive, but in the way that's like a teen drama where he is absolutely just obsessed with the idea of her, and because she has an energy that really calms him down, and she is his complete opposite, but in a way where he wants to be more like her. So it's just really, really sweet underlyingly, reading from these point of views, because underlyingly they just want someone to care about them and love them and wholeheartedly and make them feel not alone. So I'm actually really enjoying this, and it's a debut novel that has like super high ratings on Goodreads, which is always like a bonus for me because it means like it gives me the encouragement to move on, you know? So yeah, that's pretty much it for this update. I'm really hoping I can read at least, I either want to finish the Botanist Guides or I really want to finish the Book of Gothel. That way I can focus on Nocturne and then I can finish Wild Souls. I think that's my order, but we'll see what happens. As we all know, I'm nothing if not scatterbrained, running all over the place, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens next. this is not a reading update. Well, I read another chapter of A Botanist's Guide to Parties and Poisons. That is the title. I don't know why I want to say potions. Potions are not involved whatsoever. This is literally a historic mystery. I just for some reason want to say the alliteration of PMP, poisons, potions. It's not that, I swear. It is parties and poisons. So A Botanist's Guide to Parties and Poisons. Anyway, that's not why I'm on here. I need to update this because only you guys will like. So as we all know, I am Spy Family trash at this point. So my two friends finally got to give me their Christmas presents. The first is she not the cutest thing you've ever seen? And of course, so I got this yesterday. And then today, one of my other best friends, I have the greatest friends on the face of the planet, guys. You don't even understand. My best friends are absolutely amazing. So she's like, I saw this and I knew you needed it. And I'm like, you're right. She's so cute. Look at her. She's adorable. Oh my gosh. I love her so much. Oh my gosh. She's the cutest stinking thing on the face of this planet. I love Anya so much. And then, of course, I got this at Disney. And this is a hilarious story because I am deathly allergic to peanuts. And a few days after buying this shirt, I had my first anaphylactic reaction. And I had to go to the hospital and use an EpiPen. It was a whole ordeal. It was awful. Anyway, but I have this shirt too. So, live, love, Anya. I cannot deal with this. So I finally have a reading update for everyone for this reading vlog, and that is that I finished Wild Souls by Faith Prince, and I gave this a 3.75, rounded up to 4 stars. I thought this was an incredible debut, and I literally just wrote my little whole review of it. And other than like a few like nitpicky points, such as like I think the ending was like super like rushed, if that makes sense. But like nonetheless, I understood why she did what she did, but there were overall just some amazing messages, and just, it was definitely YA, and I think any YA audience, or if you find like a love in YA, I think you would actually really like this book. You just have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, but it's a super cute YA paranormal romance, and I honestly absolutely just loved our 2 main characters, and I wanted to just bundle Ethan up into a blanket with some hot cocoa, give him a hug, and tell him that he deserves the world and that he should be so proud of who he is. Because honestly, this kid, I saw so much of my friends, and like when they get really hard on themselves, they get down, they think that like things are just their fault, and it's not, and circumstances are just awful, but they feel like they're the problem. And it was really actually, it just made me feel a certain way. I just know so many people in my life who I see them in Ethan's character, and just getting to witness his character development and how he views himself just change through the trajectory of this book was just something really amazing to see. And Jenna, honestly, I think a lot of people have a part of themselves in Jenna too, in which bad things happen, but you don't want to get down by the bad things, so you bottle up your emotions. But you know, bad things happen, and you're allowed to feel really bad about them, and it's not taking away your sunshine kind of thing. So just, I thought it was an incredible debut, and I'm super excited to see what else Faith Prince writes, because I think she has just some really good solid ground to just keep building up on. I think she's gonna do some really cool things. What else? I'm still in the middle of Botanist, and I'm still really enjoying it. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. My first Wizard of Oz rehearsal, I don't know if I've told anyone, but I finally got cast in a show, and it's not with my dance department at college, but it's like a company that's in my college town, and they held just an open audition, and I actually got in as something, so I'm going to be part of their Wizard of Oz production, so I am so excited. And I have had dance every single day this week. I feel like an 80-year-old man with joint pain, but I think that overall it went super well, so I'm just very excited about what's going to happen for that part of my life right now. But yeah, I cannot wait to finish more books, because oh my gosh. Whenever I start multiple books, it takes forever to wrap them up, and I don't know what it is, because for some reason I have to start them all on different, like that was an ebook, I have another ebook on my Kindle, then I have an audiobook, and then I have a physical book. And just, I don't know, I just don't like to switch up formats, and it's so stupid because why? Why are you like this? But it's fine, whatever. I'm gonna finish them, and you are all my witnesses that I'm finishing these books.
Hi, Mr. Otters.
These guys are opportunistic predators, so they will take any chance they can to hunt. Now you'll see one with his mouth open. That is actually how he's regulating his body temperature. As we've been gone the last few weeks. Now these guys are the Nigerian dwarf goats. You'll find them in the different African village areas.
And we're leaving.
since I've updated this vlog because I refused to update it again until I had something to actually tell you about reading. And I do. I finished A Botanist's Guide to Parties and Poisons, and I absolutely loved this book. It was such a delight to read. I love Saffron so much. She's everything you want in a main character. She's witty and charming and so smart. And I just love her. And as a fellow plant guru, fellow plant scientist, I love her. And also there's a scene in here that is essentially kind of like the main character gets sick and the love interest takes care of her in this, but except it's from a scientist way. If you know any scientists, any science majors in real life, you know. Sometimes scientists are willing to risk it all for their work, and Saffron especially is, which means our dear love interest Alexander has to help her recover from something she does, and I love them. I love them so much. It's just such a delight. I'm just gonna leave my little review here, and I'll link it on Goodreads if you care about going to see it there. But I'm super excited, and I just looked it up, and the second book in this series comes out in like June or July, and I'm so excited. The cover is stunning. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to read it. The only thing I'm worried about is that it doesn't look like my dear boy Alex is in this book, which I'm going to be kind of disappointed by, honestly, because I love Alexander. However, I will live, because I'm in this for Saffron. I'm in this because I am a Saffron Everly stan. It's such a relief because I have no clue how long this vlog is at this point. Of the 4 in this vlog I started reading, I've only finished 2 so far, which is not awful. It's not awful for me. But I really wanted to finish reading the other 2 as well, especially Nocturne, because this is coming out soon. It's the end of January right now, and this comes out at the end of February. So I really want to get this finished reading, and I'm about 67% of the way through it right now. And I'm loving it. I am. But if you guys read a lot of Gothic horror and classic Gothic stories, you know that there's just a certain vibe in it where it can feel slow at times, even if it's not being slow, and I personally love it. I am still absolutely loving this book and its writing and everything about it. The atmosphere, top notch. It's just, you know, when you're in classes all the time, sometimes it's just hard to want to read. And same with Book of Gothel. I'm actually loving that book too, and we're getting to the point where it's kind of a character-driven, slow-building fantasy, but I love it so much. I love both these books so much. However, I want to read romance so badly, and I'm trying to refrain myself from starting a romance book, but we'll see. We'll see. Worst case, I don't know. It's fine. It's my life, you know? Anyway, no. So yeah, at this point, this is turning into a January vlog, which I'm kind of fine with it. I would love to have monthly vlogs if I can keep myself accountable. But yeah, we'll see what happens next. I promise you, I did not plan this, because if I had planned this, it never would have worked. So, my friends went to Comic-Con last weekend, and they got me, one of them got me a gift, and thank you, Kat, for adding to this collection. I don't think anyone's really going to be surprised, but I'm not mad. I'm so happy right now. Like, this is beautiful. It's so nice to actually like popular animes and mangas for once, because I love getting merch, truly. So thank you to all my friends for adding to the Spy Family merchandise collection. It's very appreciated, and I quote, "It'll match her hair, so now I can actually, you know, be hydrated in style." Yeah. Okay, so now they are officially sharing a shrine with Belle and Beast. This is great. This is amazing. Yeah, we're not going to comment any further on it. Okay, so it's been a couple of days since I last finished Nocturne, and I am so beyond happy to say it lived up to my hype. It lived up to the expectations I set upon it, and I gave it a 5 stars because I was right when I anticipated this, because this was exactly what I wanted. It was amazing and so lyrically wonderfully written. And I'm just going to stick my review here because I did really good at hitting the points, I think, in this review. But I am so just beyond happy to say it did live up to my hype, and it was 100% Hades, Persephone, Beauty and the Beast, Phantom vibes to the max, but with a twist at the end that just did justice to itself, I think. And yeah, so you all better go running to the bookstores on February 21st and check this book out, because I think that if you like gothic, horror, ballet, and there is historical fiction in it, but if you are not a historical fiction reader, don't let that deter you from reading it, because it really just added to the vibes, you know? And I think it was just so good. And I'm so happy to have finished it and been able to actually review it as an arc and not when it comes out. But yeah, with that, I'm going to end up wrapping the vlog here. This really did turn into a January reading vlog, which I think is kind of fun. Of the 4 books I started in this vlog, I finished 3 of them. I finished Wild Souls, A Botanist's Guide to Parties and Poisons, and Nocturne, which is a great success. I am still in the middle of the Book of Gothel, and I think it is going wonderfully. It's a very slow-moving book. It's a very character-driven book. So I'm trying to like pepper in some other faster reads with it. That way I'm able to still finish books during classes. But yeah, that doesn't mean I'm enjoying Gothel any less. It just means I'm really appreciating the pacing and reading it as I can. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave this here, and I really appreciate you sticking around to the very end of this vlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you found some good recs from it. And if you liked the vlog and want to stick around with my bookish corner of the internet, please consider subscribing. And my social medias, if you want to find me elsewhere, they're going to be linked below. And until next time, I'm Kay. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye!